Greetings and salutations, my minions. Kunic here, back with yet another RPG horror story for you today. And this story is actually a continuation of a previous tale, part 3 to the Greg Saga. And if you're not familiar with Greg, don't worry, I put together a playlist for you that you can watch after this video to get caught up. Don't worry, the story is self-contained, so you don't need to know much about Greg prior to this to really grasp what's happening. Though there will be some subtle references to the previous stories, so just a heads up. Anyhow, with that all said, let's roll for initiative and begin the story. A Tale of Greg, the DM, and a 2 miles gold dragon. Our DM was gone. Carl suggested Greg as our next DM, and we all agreed. And so Greg started a homebrew campaign, starting from level 1. Carl played an elven ranger, Jesse played a halfling bard, and I played a human wizard/warrior. If you read the other stories of Greg, you might not believe it, but the first 2 sessions were kind of decent. Greg was really happy to DM. We had to defend a dwarven settlement against some evil orcs. There was only one odd thing. We were rewarded with 10,000 platinum coins on level 2. For all of you non-D&D players, that's a truckload of money. And because Greg was a huge dwarven fanboy, the dwarven sold us magic stuff for only a few coins. I got a magic Zweihander named Frostmourne +3 with 66 frost damage for 5 platinum. So, our plan was to buy us a nice mansion next session. We knew it was too much money, and we talked about it with Greg, but he said that dwarfs are just that rich in Faerun. Since it wasn't that big of a deal as long as the campaign was fun, we didn't complain. Session 3 started with a 2 miles long gold dragon flying above us in the sky. We didn't know what to do with this information, so our characters just moved on. Greg was somehow upset because we missed a big plot point. We asked him later what he meant, but he assumed we were just not smart enough to understand. So, because he was upset, I guess, a bunch of bandits showed up and demanded our money. They somehow knew about it. Which, honestly, is kind of realistic if a bunch of adventurers just get handed a ton of money. I mean, think about all the lottery winners out there who, win millions of dollars, and it basically gets announced publicly that they've done that. It's not uncommon for family members to turn on their own kin because they're now rich, so not totally unbelievable that everyone would know. Anyhow, let's continue. We wanted to fight. That's when we found out that these bandits could run, attack, steal money, and run in one activation. I was lucky to be able to charge one of them. I hit him with a natural 20. When I was about to roll damage, Greg announced, "Oh, your notes are wrong. Frostmourne is just a Zweihander +1 with 1d4 frost damage." With that major debuff, I wasn't able to knock out the bandit. So they just ran away, with our money. We followed their tracks, because we didn't know what to do, to an old tower in the middle of a forest. Inside the tower, we encountered numerous riddles. Unfortunately, we weren't able to solve even one riddle. That's when Greg announced, "Oh, your notes are wrong. Frostmourne is a sentient Zweihander and can speak to you." So, hooray. We spent the next hours watching Frostmourne solving riddles that we did not understand, even after Frostmourne solved them in front of our characters. Let me give you an example. We were transported into a cubic room. All walls were made out of indestructible mirrors that could change the lighting color of the room if you touch them. There were no clues, no doors, no windows, only an indestructible flying crystal in the middle of the room. Do you get it? Come on! And? Do you get it? Easy. Just punch the indestructible crystal again and again with Frostmourne, because something indestructible sometimes is not indestructible if you punch it 20 times. Feel free to use that genius riddle for your D&D groups. The final room was a huge hall, 300 feet by 300 feet. Ceiling height was, 50 feet or so. Amazing! And there he was, the 2 mile long dragon sitting in this room. Can you imagine? Because to this day, I can't. Can somebody draw a picture for me? Greg told us that according to his calculations, the dragon had a lot of space inside that room. But, much to the disappointment of Greg, we just asked the dragon if he saw the bandits. It was at this point that we found out that Greg forgot about the bandits. He made up a story that they used a portal inside the tower, so we followed them and left the dragon. Session 4 was rather boring. We killed a bunch of ogres that were henchmen of the bandits, and Greg announced, "Oh, your notes are wrong. Frostmourne is a Zweihander +1 with 4d6 frost damage." So I guess the weapon just changes what it does arbitrarily when the DM rules it. Cool. A plot device. Nice. Session 5 was the final session of Greg's campaign. We found out that the bandits were actually the royal family of a secret kingdom. We could only get to the kingdom via 2 entrances guarded by bullies. Guards. Everyone who wanted to enter had to pay a toll of 1,000 gold, or must win in a duel. So, our ranger chose the duel. That's when we found out that the duel meant all guards against one character. So we paid the money, and because we attacked them, duel, we had to give them all of our money. Yes, the toll was all of your money. Nice, but we still had our equipment, you say. That's when we found out that there were bandits everywhere in this kingdom, and they were just as overpowered as the bandits from Session 3. They stole everything. Okay, not everything. They left us with our underwear. Very gracious. Just when the bandits wanted to leave us, a bunch of paladins, followers of Faerun god Tyr, showed up. They caught the bandits in no time, and we were happy for the first time that day. But there was one problem. How should they know who of us was telling the truth? I had an idea. I told them that the bandits had stolen my wizard book, with my name and my Raven Familiar. Raven Familiar could speak common in D&D 3.5. I thought that because they had items now, it could prove our words. But no. "There is only one truth," the paladins declared. "And only one way to find out the truth. The one who can balance the longest on a 10-foot pole always speaks the truth." I kid you not. Greg told us that the logic was that people who are physically fit are hard workers, and hard workers are always honest people. So, we had to do that. Luckily, Ranger had some good dice rolls, and so we got our stuff back. And also the equipment of the bandits, who were executed by the paladins for being evil. At that point, we players were in a YOLO mode. We couldn't take anything seriously anymore. But we still continued playing. Our characters arrived at the next town. Greg told us that in this town, there was a temple for every deity of Faerun. We asked him if we could also find temples of the evil gods, like Velsharun, the god of undead, or Baal, the god of violence and murder. Greg nodded. We visited those temples and asked the priests and followers why they were not doing evil things. They told us they had no reason to do evil things. So we suggested, why not just, if you are followers of a god of murder, just murder stuff. And that did the trick. Hundreds of followers of evil deities just stormed out of the temples and killed everyone. It didn't take long, and there was a big, bloody holy war going on in the streets of that town. Okay then. Suddenly, the 2 miles gold dragon appeared in the sky. He used his fire breath to kill hundreds of people in the streets, and landed just before our characters. With his thundering deep voice, he asked us to give him one reason that he should not kill us. We were just confused. I can remember that at that point my character challenged the dragon to a 10-foot pole test, but the dragon just killed us with his fire breath. That was the end of Greg's campaign. He told us that the bandits/royal family were good guys all along, but we never even considered that. How rude. A few weeks later, I saw Greg at a train station. We talked a bit. I said that I was just creating a new character for another group. That's when he told me that my character didn't die. He announced, "Your notes must have been wrong. Frostmourne's wielder is immune to elemental damage." End post. Okay, so Greg is also a terrible DM just as he is a terrible player. But he's almost so bad as a DM that it borders so bad it's good territory. Like movies like Kung Pao. Okay, let's take the bandit thing as an example. So a bunch of guys come up and rob you of nearly 10,000 platinum. But they're the good guys in the end. All you had to do was ask them and consider that they might be good. Okay, why would I consider a bunch of guys that just robbed me of a literal fortune to be good guys? These guys jumped them, attacked them, and then stole and ran away from them. Nothing about that speaks that they're good in the end. And then the whole Frostmourne's wielder thing, that weapon is constantly changing what it can do. One day it's like 6d12, then it's 1d4, then it's 6d 4 or 46. Why? Why does he need to have a weapon that changes all the times? And why must Greg claim that his notes are wrong when he's the one who's telling him these things? Yeah, this is almost so bad it's good territory. Not the other stories, mind you, just this particular one because he was DMing and you could just see like, okay, I can imagine laughing or going what these players did and YOLOing the whole situation. Yeah. I'm not going to comment much else on this. Like, this is just ridiculous. But I will say, I do hope that there are more stories about Greg because it seems like they haven't cut ties yet. He met up with him at a train station and they were talking, and his character is still alive. So maybe there's more story to be told. Who knows? The DM did not let on that is the case, but I secretly hope there is because I'm quite enjoying where this is going, to say the least. Anyhow, that's it for today's story. If you're wondering why it's a little on the short side, it's because I wanted to keep Greg's stories together by themselves going forward. Obviously, the first story did not do that. It was sort of a footnote of another story, but going forward, whenever there's a new Greg story coming out, I just want to have a separate video for that. And then maybe one day I just do a compilation of all the stories into one massive video. And yeah, if you've not yet checked out the other 2 stories of Greg, click up here for the playlist for Greg's shenanigans as a player. And as always, the source of this story is in the comments below. Now, if you like the video and you want to see more videos just like this one, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon in order to be notified of my future videos. And while you wait for those future videos, here are a few related videos that you can watch in the meantime.